Welcome back to the channel. I hope everyone is doing well. We are going to start doing a bunch of tutorials, and I'm going to be starting off with Excel, and we are going to be touching on pivot table in this video. So what are pivot tables and what are some benefits of using pivot tables? And we're going to end up doing a quick sample of how you actually use a pivot table. So before we get started, I want to just take a moment and appreciate each and every one of you for being here. My goal is really to create a platform that empowers others to be a better version of themselves and also build up their skill set as far as the job market is concerned. So Excel has all of these different fields as you can see on my screen. You have file, you have home, you have insert, you have page layout, formulas, data, review, view, as well as help. So by clicking on each of them, you should be able to see what each of them basically mean, right? So when you do file, it's an opportunity for you to either save or create a brand new workbook. So as you can see on here, if I want to do new, I can click new, or if I want to save a file, I can click save as, and it's going to allow me to do that. Let's go back. So when you're in home is basically a new workbook. So home, as you can see, I've already taken the liberty of creating a bunch of sample data that we're going to be using for this particular demonstration today. Insert allows you to insert graphs, allows you to do tables, allows you to do pivot tables like charts, graphs, and so forth. And then you do have a page layout, which gives you, margin modifications, orientation, size, printing style, tiles, and many others. And then formulas allows you to insert formulas. So if you are planning to do a summation, you want to do VLOOKUP, that's another tool we're going to be covering in another upcoming video, which is VLOOKUP. Is another very interesting segment of Excel that can be very, very useful. And then you also have this section called data, which allows you to do a simple, you can do that with data if you are planning to tie different workbooks together. Data section allows you to do that. That's another segment of video. Also, there is the review section, which allows you to do comments, protect your workbook, also insert a password. And then you have the view and you have the help section if you want to connect through the internet for assistance. So with pivot table, you always have to start with a data set. As you can see on here, my data set is located right here. So I have my headers, which are these right here. And then I have specific data points that are corresponding to each of the headers. Okay. So for the purpose of this video, I have come up with random things that we're going to be using. This is just me coming up with names, account, state, year, as well as month. So now that you have your data set, the next thing you want to do is you come to this section where it says insert. As you can see already, right? You see there's already pivot table here, and then there is a recommended pivot table. This recommended section is important to call out. And the reason for that is under the recommended, the system is basically taking your data and making recommendations based on your data for possible pivots tables you should be creating. So you can either use that. I always start off with that because it gives you an opportunity to see what's available, different manipulations that are possible based on your data set. We know where pivot table is located. We're going to go right for it. Okay. So you're going to just hit this section right here to kind of select your entire sheet. It's selected already. You can do it that way. In some cases, you can just come, drag, and select. Let's start off with the recommended pivot tables. I click that and it's going to give me different options. As you can see on here, it's giving me summary of account by state, is giving me summary of year by state, is giving me multiple pivot tables as options that I can use. So we're going to go for it, right? So we're going to start off with this one right here where it says account by state. If we select this, we say okay. As you can see on here, the system has taken the liberty of creating this pivot table for us. So on here, this particular pivot table is summarization by state. As you can see on here is account, and then you have state. You can definitely include more things, right? So if I select that, you see now my pivot table start to change. I'm going to remove that for a second. So basically what this particular view is giving us the state as well as the summary. What are the summation of these basically numbers while corresponding with the states? So it's basically saying New York, for example, are there multiple New York? As you can see, we do have three categories for New York. And these four categories, I mean, for New York, is basically saying in New York, we have a total of how many corresponding count. This is just to give you an example, right? So let's say we want to include more things, right? You just click here and automatically you have these pivot table fields. All of these fields are available for you to manipulate. So if I do name, for example, you can see all of the names become available in this view, right? This view somewhat is confusing, right? So if you want to make a better visual so that you can easily see what exactly is happening with the name section, we can do that as well. And you get to move things around. See that? You are able to then now focus on one name at a time. So that could be a view you want to see. So depending on the analysis you're trying to provide would determine how this view looks like. So for example, right now I want to focus on Josh. I'm going to say, where does Josh appear? And Josh only appears in the state of Georgia. So, and we can even see that easily in these data sets. So it's easy to identify these things, but in bigger sets, which is why it's very important to hone your skills with smaller data sets so that when the bigger data sets, because the skills are already honed, you're able to not worry about errors. As you can see here, Georgia is right here, and Josh is only one time, and it's only applicable to Georgia. So one of the beauties as well, as you make changes, you can also make sure that it's reflected in your summary that you do. So for example, let's say I want to make a change to Josh. I can do that. I just have to ensure that I come to my pivot and just refresh it, because now my pivot already know that my data set is coming from sheet one. So they're already linked. Now that we've done that, right? So we can come back here. I can remove this and basically tell it to do all, and it's going to do that. As you can see, everything is back the way it was before. So we can even do more, like for example, year, we can add months to it. As we are adding things, the summary is looking different each time. So these are just to give you a little bit of manipulations that you can then do with your data set. I can even turn off some certain things, for example. So the next one, like I can decide to remove all my selection, right? As I'm removing them, as you can see, they are all coming off my summary right there. It's coming off. Okay. So now we can make a decision and say we want to change things up, for example. So instead of doing a summation of count versus state, I can decide I want to turn off my count. Okay. And I want to bring the name to this section right here, right? So you can see on here, brings me back. I can take this back again. I take this back. I can then do year. As you can see, is basically calculating the year, is doing a sum of the year, right? I can also decide I want to do it this way, and it also changes that for me. I can then now say, since I have my year up there, I want to maybe bring name on here. Can do that too. So that's just to give you an idea. So the next video we're going to be doing is we're going to kind of focus on how you can turn this to a graphical view that you can use to communicate issues. And these are all tools that you need as a data analyst or a data specialist, whatever role you find yourself in, because everyone use Excel in some capacity, because Excel is just such a handy skill set to have. So this is just to give you a quick idea of some of the things that you can do and how to do a pivot table. Okay. So, all right. I hope this video is helpful to you. Definitely please come back, leave me comments, questions. I am definitely very excited to answer any of them. If you have specific tutorials that you're interested in, let me know. All right. So that is it for this video. Give this video a thumbs up. Subscribe to this channel if you've not subscribed already. Till next time, I wish you all the very best of luck and I will catch you in the next one. Take care, guys.